in beta, and tonight we are live again, and I have a couple of guests. Let's add them to the queue here. So Brian is back on the show again tonight, and we are lucky to have Craig Metcalf from Kuat Racks here. So hello, Craig. Hello, Brian.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
thanks for having me on.
How's everybody doing this evening?
I mean, it's been beautiful here in Wisconsin the last several days. I missed the beginning part of it because I was in Missouri and it was actually colder down there than it was up here. But no, it's been beautiful the last couple of days here.
Nice.
Yeah,
Craig, how are things in Missouri?
I would say the same. Yeah, down here in this area, we're having an amazing fall. All of our foliage is starting to turn. So
Nice.
beautiful camping weather. Beautiful time to get outside.
Yes, it's actually been pretty cold here the last few days. We had some storms and stuff too, but it's supposed to warm back up, so that's cool. Well, anyway, tonight we are here to talk about the Kuat rack system, and we're here to answer people's questions. Anybody who has questions, we recommend that you go ahead and post those in the chat. So I'm just going to throw this up there. If you post questions, we will get to as many as we can throughout the live stream. That being said, we have lots of other stuff that we can talk about this evening. So for those who don't know what the Kuat rack is, let's just talk a little bit about that. And I don't know, Craig, if you want to just kind of jump in and I'll just kind of show some of the images of the rack and
Sure.
kind of what it is. We can go from there. Yeah.
Sure. So it's a new vertical from Kuat. This is an all aluminum skeleton system that Kuat makes for most midsize and full-size trucks. We even make retractable tonneau adaptability with a couple key manufacturers, but this system can be bolted onto your truck in a full height configuration or a mid-height configuration right out of the box, which is very unique. It's a system that is covered in T-channels, and we have accessories like MOLLE panels and side-mounted bike racks, riser kits to lift up over the cab height if you're carrying longer items, and a really neat accessory which is coming out here relatively soon is a panel kit to fully enclose this system. So I know that's a really fast overview, but basically it's a modular bed rack system that can be just completely configured from a canopy setup to exploded out to a MOLLE panel and overland setup.
Yeah, and it is one of the, if not the most versatile rack system on the market. And I've run it in both configurations. So I've run it in both the mid-height and the full height configuration. It's currently in mid-height because I just took a long trip back to Wisconsin and I didn't want the tent on and everything like that. So I brought it down to mid-height. And if we get back out in the trails yet this fall and winter, we're going to actually leave it in mid-height and use your riser kit, which is another thing you can do, is leave it in mid-height and then put a riser kit on top of this to get the tent up a little bit higher. And what I'm hoping for there and planning on is that to clear the camera in the back for it, so I can still use the camera, or at least I can see out the back of the window, which will be nice.
Sure.
So I still have, can see what's going on, which is cool.
And the system is unique in that it does include a set of crossbars with the system. You're not having to kind of piece a bed rack system together. You get everything all included in the box, the ability to go mid or full height. And then Ben, just like you were saying, accessories like this crossbar riser which allow you to incrementally raise up the crossbars to just really finite those adjustments to meet your cab or just over that fin or just over any part of your truck. Yeah,
so I've been really impressed with this. Brian, you've seen it a little bit too. Do you have any kind of impressions now that you've seen, because you've been out overlanding with me, you've seen it back in Wisconsin as well? Like, any thoughts on the rack yourself, like from what you've seen, even though you have a Jeep, so you're not running the a rack on it right now because the Gladiator, but what are you thinking of it?
Right. I mean, again, like you said, I've seen it in both configurations. I definitely kind of preferred it in the higher configuration when you had it, but that's like at the same time we were overlanding at the time. You had a lot of gear, and everything fit like nice and tight. There wasn't much for things moving around, everything kind of had its place, and that your rack was a big part of how things kind of nicely fit together and stayed in place. I mean, I would have loved to have had something similar to what as far as the enclosure goes, something similar to that to go over top of my windows on my Jeep, so that way I could have put some of the gas cans, things like that on my own Jeep. But it was cool to see that kind of stuff on yours.
The hardware
then-
too includes, or as far as the rack too, we include the hardware. Ben, I know on your truck you have that track system that runs along the inside, or a few modern trucks will kind of give you that track system.
Yeah.
For
Yep. So
attachment.
mine attaches to the inside of. Let's see if I can. Let me do this really quick, and we. Can
But we include the Ibex itself will include both the track mount and your traditional like C or J clamps. So if you didn't have that system, you can still grip underneath the bed.
See if I can get back to you. There was an image right there. So here's some, it's what it looks like sort of in a mid-height with some of the accessories you can see right there, I guess. It just ties into that track system that goes all the way around the truck.
Yeah,
but you
really
can, like
clean.
you said, yeah. And then this would be running it in full height at this point with the tent and everything on top. So you can play a little bit of that. And you can see the difference when I'm out camping, kind of what that looks like. And the full Molly setup. So this gives you a lot more placement for accessories, that kind of thing. But you can still do that piston mount on the outside, which you were talking about. And that allows you to actually put outside of these bikes on each side. So they don't even go, like they don't interfere with pretty much anything, which is pretty sweet too.
It is. And that's something from a brand standpoint, I feel like Kuat's noticed and has really started to drive the awareness is, a lot of times your trailer hitch is busy either towing or hauling something else. And, as you know, it's you want to take your bike even more and more places now more than ever. So incorporating and bringing bike into, all of our different industries and this especially, but it kind of, it tucks in tight and it takes advantage of just, almost this negative space, and frees up your trailer hitch, which is awesome.
And it's super secure for the bike as well, which is great.
It is. That is our single tray, which has T channels that run along the bottom that you can place it, of course, there on top of the truck or on top of crossbar systems or even on the back of the hitch receiver. So it's just this really modular universal system or tray that you can click in and out in different spots.
And that's what I really love about how Kuat designs products is how can we make this as modular as possible? How can we make this fit as many different possible applications as we can? And obviously it's not, every vehicle is a little bit different and you still have to have different SKUs for different things. And you talked about that in the past, like, one rack doesn't necessarily fit everything. You have like an A SKU and a B SKU, and then there's the 5 foot, the 6 foot, the full size, so on and so forth. But many of your parts are kind of interchangeable, which is kind of cool too.
Mm-hmm. And then, like to that point, trying to not, make 200 different bed rack SKUs, trying to design a rack in a modular way that is aesthetically unlike anything else, and that can adapt to not only your 5 foot bed, your 6 foot bed, but also your retractable tonneau cover, and then even your Gladiator and so forth. So.
Yeah, I think it was the last time you were on and we were all talking that it was kind of my first introduction to the rack system for the back of the truck. But it was when I saw the bike rack on the side there that I really kind of went kind of gaga about it, just because of the fact that I was like, I'd never even realized that was solving a problem that people had. Like that is a problem, because when I put my bike rack in, I just have an inexpensive one on the back of my Jeep, and it completely blocks the backup camera and everything else. I was like, you can put it on the side.
Mm-hmm. And it's a look unlike anything else. When you see a truck or see a vehicle zipping down the road and they have their, mountain bike or gravel bike loaded up in there, it is definitely something that you're like, what in the world is that?
So I'm just going to leave this play a little bit in the background here, get it a little bit bigger, and we can talk maybe about the panel kit, because that's sort of one of your next products that is basically going to be available very shortly. So if you want to talk a little bit through that while I let this play in the background. But again, I'm excited about this because it basically creates a cap. So whether it's the winter months and I just want to make sure everything stays clean and safe in the back, or I want to run my tent on top of there, I can do those types of things too. But let's go ahead and talk through that.
Sure. So, just as been said, for the 3rd and 4th gen Tacoma owners for the 5-foot bed, we will have this a panel kit enclosure, which is all 4 sides in the roof for your skew. So you could purchase the framed system now, knowing mid-November we will have this hitting retailers. So it's all 4 sides. The side panels are steel, and then the back, top, and front panel are aluminum. So it's a very lightweight system. The doors are gas strut open, so they're kind of, once you click and pull the handles up, they just quickly open up. And the locks are also compatible with our other Kuat SKUs, so you can even further match things up, which is really neat.
It's super cool how you figure out how to make that all work. Now, when you guys were designing that, did you already have in mind that you wanted to be able to do something like this, or is this something that came later on? I think that was a question that I had in my back of my mind. It's all fits together really well, but were you already thinking we were going to create this ability to enclose the entire rack into a cap, or did that again come later?
Sure. This was always in Kuat's mind when designing the product, and then over the course of designing and the product coming to fruition, the concept continued to prove itself and kind of carve a whole new blurred product in between a bed rack system and a canopy system or a cap system. And in some ways that's the disruption I feel like Kuat wants to do when entering into a whole new product or a whole new industry.
And I noticed too that you have some different options. So you can just do the side panels if you want.
You can.
You could also just do the full panel kit or the front, top, and rear panels.
So the complete kit right now, it will ship in 2 boxes, and that's comprised of just the 2 side doors and then the front, top, and the very back. And
nice.
So, on that modularity, let's just say if you really wanted to run just Male panels or keep maybe a side open, but wanted to run the roof, the front, and the back, you can even purchase the product in a way that really lines up with exactly how you want to use this product. Which
that's
even
great.
Further makes that concept of like, okay, I can choose this frame and then just kind of literally Lego only the pieces that I want to it. It's really cool.
So with the gas struts, you have there's 2 on each panel, it looks like.
2 on each panel, and with that we'll have accessories. We'll have a Male panel that can click in on the underneath side, and then the struts get upgraded to carry more weight to offset. But they are just I think right now they're 2 cores, kind of a half 90 turn, and then the spring open.
Okay. And what kind of pressure or weight needs to be applied to them to get them to come down?
It's pretty minimal. It's one-hand operation. With the struts, with the upgraded kit, I think they go up to a 40-pound strut. So you're able to put like a med kit or even a shovel. You could even put a track board system on the underneath side, and that way stow it and lock it away.
Yeah. I mean, in the video, it looked like Ben did it was pretty easy about pushing it back down. I just had a flashback of an earlier video where Misty was trying to close down the rooftop tent, and she had to put all her weight into it. That's why I ask.
Sure.
Yeah, there was no pressure at all. It was super easy to put down and up. It was great.
And then that too, that's a great stopping point right there in the video. That is another accessory. When the panel kit, it will utilize the roof rails, but it utilizes them in this flush mount mode, so kind of back to where the Ibex was fully, or just how it was out of the box. But we'll have a riser kit that allows you to take the bars and bump them up farther to then make it more accessible or easier to attach accessories or loop around a traditional maybe tent bracket. The top of the bars in the flush mount mode still will expose, a whole set of T-channels, so you can still direct mount a lot of accessories, but to give you even more room and more, creative ability to put stuff on, we'll have that riser kit.
Yeah, I mean, this thing is, there's just so many configurations, and when you start it, the starting price I think is like 1,500, like 1,489 or 1,450 for just a rack, and you're obviously adding all this, but you can add as you need to, and even the panel kit, you don't have to buy the full panel kit. You can, if your tent's sitting on top of everything already, and you don't need that top panel. That it's not sealing it from water, but it's probably pretty good. You're not going to get super wet inside of your bed with your tent sitting right on top of the rack. And so you might just want the side panels, or you might just want the back panel. It's so configurable. It's super cool.
Mm-hmm.
Were there any thoughts on on the front and back panels, including any kind of windows or anything like that, so that you could see out the back?
I know as we continue to, create panel kits, for the SKU, and just continue to grow in this category, how this product evolves and continues to adapt with different changes. It's really exciting to just, see what will come kind of this cargo management system. So too, on that is we are getting more samples to open up more compatibility for full-size trucks panels, and so toward the end of the year we should have more fitments opened up and kind of when you can go about adding those to your vehicle, which is really exciting.
And then what's the community response been for you at the expos and things like that? I'm just curious. I know you've been to a lot of the expos, so what's been the response for the Kuat rack overall the last couple of years?
It's definitely a new vertical where Kuat doesn't have as much awareness as related to the cycling industry, but the response from not only the manufacturers but just the end user has been overwhelmingly positive. The panel kit specific, I feel like we've had it out and about at not only industry shows but consumer expos and rallies, and it's just our response is just, hey, we're ready for it, we're ready, where can we get it, direct us. So we're all excited from a company standpoint, to be getting these in stock and then just getting them out to dealers that are ready to that have their customer base in line to put the panel kit on, and then just our kind of diehard fans and customers that have these 3rd and 4th gen Tacomas. So just I think a lot of excitement for this surrounding this accessory for the Ibex, but the Ibex in general, positive. We're each month we see more and more sales, more and more awareness. We're growing further and further with retailers and distribution networks. So it's definitely a grind, but we continue to see the positives from it.
I'd be curious to know, dealing with the dealers and dealerships and whatnot, if there's any, how do I word this, any kind of edge case uses that they've been able to solve, because you've got your bike racks, you've got the ability to haul the kayaks and those kinds of things. But if there was just kind of some oddball thing someone was looking for and they were like, this will do it, if any of that kind of has come back to you at all.
I mean, dealerships is a great network where we are growing quickly in. We've onboarded with Mopar from a distribution network. So,
Nice.
and hope to be onboarding with more upfitters. So from an awareness standpoint, yes, more and more. I think the Gladiator SKU was one that came from there. It wasn't one of the first structured SKUs that Kuat launched. It was an ad. So from that standpoint, you know, it's up there with one of the most modified, I think, trucks out there on the market. So that was a system that we knew we needed to create a bed rack for. And that came about just from listening to dealers and customers, and just, you know, Ben, I'm sure, you know, when you attend these events, you see the presence of the Jeep community. So, and you as well, Brian.
Yeah.
The Jeep community is definitely alive and well. There's no doubt about that. Everywhere we go, and especially here in Colorado.
Yes.
So Will is joining us. He just hopped off the premiere from Oscar's detailing of the DIY tuber competition, and we appreciate Will and Humberto being here. And Will asked how many miles I have on the Taco so far. So before I left for Wisconsin, I was under I was like in the 4,000 range, and now I'm about 7,000. So about a month, I put about 3,000 miles on. But yeah, that's where we're at the moment. And my transmission is still okay. We're good, which is good, because there's been some transmission problems within my VIN range. So I'm hoping that continues to be the case. Everything's going to be good. We'll see though.
Nice. We also have a 24 Tacoma for one of our SEMA builds and company vehicles, and it's been really fun to drive, I will say. We have a third gen, and so you can appreciate, of course, just, you know, whole design changes and engine changes, but it's really fun to drive.
My a good friend of ours back home just bought a Tacoma like last, I want to say November, December. And so he was looking inside and out of my Tacoma and wanted to ride in it. And he was like, all right, this is pretty nice. Like, maybe I should trade mine in. And I was like, well, you know, you do whatever you need to do. But the third gen's a nice truck too. So, but yeah, they're really nice. They're really nice trucks. There's no doubt about that. I'm enjoying the heck out of it so far. So one other thing I think you wanted to talk about today. So I'm going to pop into back to the web here. And you all are going to be at SEMA, and do you want to talk a little bit about what that's going to be like for you and why people might want to come and check out your booth?
Yes. So this is Kuat's second year displaying or exhibiting at SEMA. Our booth is 60215 in the West Hall for those attending the show. We will have a few neat builds. We'll have 224 tacos, but one of our Tacomas is being built by Keith Charvonia, which is really neat. He's awesome. You know, an amazing just builder, and you know, I feel like industry, you know, and is part of the industry and has been a part of the industry for a while. But it's really neat to have that as a featured vehicle. And then two, Kuat will be unveiling brand new product for the rack industry, for the overland, you know, static rack category.
That's going to be exciting. I know Brian's chomping at the bit to get something out of his Jeep at some point.
Yes, we're you know, if you can envision, you know, the ibex and the industrial design in that, and then just kind of take your imagination and go further and go across, go on top. So we're really excited. It's a collaboration. In some ways, it's a collaboration with another industry, Titan. So we'll have, of course, more to come. This year, SEMA is going live. So for those that can't attend, there is a 24/7 360 live link that you can, you know, put on and walk the show floor, so to speak.
That's super
So
cool because I mean, I would love to go to SEMA. One year I'll get there maybe, but I don't know when that's going to happen. So we'll see it eventually. So these are the Stravonia Keith Stravonia designed these billet tie-downs, and Will asked what mods I've done on the truck besides just the bed rack, and this is one of those. I actually have tie-downs all the way around from Keith. So those are pretty cool. And also got the Trail Hunter skid plates currently, and the Trail Hunter rock sliders. But I'm gonna have a whole bunch of new accessories coming very shortly from Adventure More, and we're gonna be new skid plates, maybe new rock rails, and potentially a new front bumper as well with a winch and lights and everything like that. So lots of stuff coming on the channel and the build at the Tacoma, plus some wheels and tires coming eventually here. I should have already had those, but yeah, lots of cool stuff coming in the pretty near future, which I'm pretty excited about. So that's what's coming, Will. Thanks for asking that question. Appreciate that. Yeah, and back to SEMA though. Really excited for you guys to be there, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what you unveil, because everything has been. Because I think what people don't realize, like, and this is an example, and I don't want to pick on Cali Raised for this too much, but Cali Raised is a great company. They know their stuff. But when I got their rock sliders, they didn't fit. They were off by like a 16th. And for a lot of people, that's not a problem. They have the tools. They could grind it out and make it fit. But they also had a lot more attach points that were very difficult to get to. It was just a pretty difficult install for somebody to do it by themselves. And somebody who's maybe kind of novice at that kind of thing. And so what I appreciate about something like Kuat is none of this is hard. It is, anybody can put one of these racks on. Anybody can put the accessories on, and they're rock solid and just super easy to reconfigure. It maybe takes an hour and a half max to go from the mid height to the lower to the full height, or vice versa. And that's like taking all of my light just went off. Taking all of your accessories off and like lowering it. So like that's by myself, and I have done it by myself with the rack like teetering on some stuff, which is probably not the best way to do it. Always two people is better, I would say. But that's one thing I just love about the Kuat products is they're just so well designed. They make it so easy for people. So yeah,
it's definitely good to hear. That is definitely part of the process when working through and creating a product, is thinking about, how's this going to get interacted with, and then if we're opening up this feature, how's that going to continue to get, what's that experience going to be like? So no, that's exactly how Kuat has created that product to be used.
So Brian, any last questions? Any other thoughts or feelings?
No, honestly, I'm curious to kind of check out the live stream of everything that's going to be happening at SEMA, just to see what's all there and see how you're all set up to showcase your stuff, and hopefully be able to even see when you're kind of unveiling the new items.
Yeah, and I would say stay tuned on Ben's channels and social for maybe a sneak peek to his audience on what's going to be going down at SEMA in the Kuat booth. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to see what might be there. It'd be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, Craig, I want to just say thank you so much for joining us for the live stream tonight. Brian, also thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm sure we'll have you back at least once or twice more, and you're welcome to come on anytime. Just let me know. Happy to do that. Any other last things you want to talk about?
No, just continue to like and subscribe to the channel.
Yep, and I appreciate that as well. We do have links to Kuat products in the description, so click those if you want to check any of the products out. But thank you guys so much for joining tonight, and thank you to the audience. Thank you to everybody. Looks like we maybe have one question really quick. Let's see what this says here. Let's see if you can answer this question. Here we go, Craig. We're going to throw it up. There's one question that just came in. So Jeff says currently has Trail Hunter with the Retrax Pro XR cover, wanting to put some stripping underneath the Kuat rack. Do you think that's reasonable? I think maybe for extra, like just making sure it doesn't leak, that kind of thing is probably what I think Jeff is talking about there. What do you think?
Sure, it's probably something that wouldn't hurt. We do have an adapter plate that attaches to that Retrax XR cover, and then you can attach the Ibex to that. Definitely something, yeah. If you can lay down a very thin strip of something to, just to that, yeah, keep the materials looking as clean as possible. That would not hurt anything.
All right, Jeff, hopefully that's helpful for you. So he's saying he has the adapter plate. He's talking about between the adapter and the rack itself.
Sure. I don't think that would harm or hurt the system at all.
Cool. So hopefully that was helpful for you, Jeff. Thanks for the question. Appreciate that. We might have one more thing here, I guess. So the question was, do we make modifications on our rides to make sure the engines don't get wet? So some of the vehicles do have like snorkels and things like that on. Mine does not. The Trail Hunter does come with a high air intake for the 24 Tacomas, but it's not really meant for water traversing. I don't know that I'll plan on doing that because I don't think I'm going to afford a lot of really deep water. Hopefully. I guess you don't know about that till you get to it, but I don't plan right now to put a snorkel on. I don't know about you, Brian. What do you think?
I was tempted to do a snorkel, but I haven't pulled the trigger on one yet. Like you, I don't exactly plan on forging through deep waters with the Jeep, but there is an added benefit of having that higher intake, even if you're driving on like dry, dusty roads. A lot less debris getting sucked in with having that higher intake. So,
yeah, which is what they did with the Tacoma, with the Trail Hunters. But that it's basically just a higher intake, and it sounds kind of cool too with the turbo. Most of the time too, where at least I am going to be overlanding for most of the time in the next several years will be Utah and Colorado. There won't be too much for deeper water. There's some water crossings, but it's not like Arkansas or something like that where you would you're crossing 3-4 feet of water sometimes across a river. So right now I don't have a plan for a snorkel, but it's a great question.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not seeing any more questions, but again, appreciate everybody that did post in the comments today and joined us for the live stream. So thank you so much for watching. Remember, live your life in beta, and we'll see you next time.
Take care, everybody.